you know what? It's pandemic proof, right? The pandemic actually made my business boom, right? And it's probably going to be recession proof because there is always going to be singles out there in the world. And people, especially when they have problems, they are in need of connection. Welcome back to the S Factor. My name is Andrea Lo. I'm the founder and dating coach of Toronto Dating Hub. So if you feel like you've tried everything, you're single, not knowing what to do, well, I can help you. My success factor is finding my passion point and where my skill set intersects. I love to get to know my clients on a first name basis, and I'm hoping to help you with my vast experience in this industry, and I can't wait to help you.
Hello, Andrea. Welcome to the S Factor. How are you this afternoon?
I'm great. Thank you for asking, and thanks for having me here.
We are very excited to have you. Your story is very fascinating, and we want to learn more about you. So we're going to be talking about the dating hub and everything which goes with that. But before that, as it is actually a true side hustle, so let's get to know a little bit about Andrea herself. So tell us a bit about yourself, please.
Yeah, well, hi, everybody. My name is Andrea, born and raised here in Toronto. I'm the founder and dating coach for Toronto Dating Hub. So I went to school for business and marketing and was always in marketing and events. And then I founded Toronto Dating Hub, having been single and I've tried everything. And I thought this was a great way to sort of give back to the singles community, as well as put my marketing and, event planning experience to great use for a much needed community that would definitely benefit from my services.
Excellent. You founded Toronto Dating Hub back in 2020. The world was going through a lot of different challenges, as was our city, Toronto. What sort of motivated you to actually start the business right at that time?
Yeah, so a bit of a personal story that I tell at the beginning of all my events for those who haven't attended. So during 2020, of course, as most of us remember, was a pretty dark time for many of us. For me specifically, three things happened. One was I got laid off from my job of, 8 years, but a big chunk of my career. So I got laid off. Two, the boyfriend at the time, broke up with me. And so I lost my relationship there. And then three, having pretty traditional Asian parents and me not living with them. They were very strict with their sort of isolation bubble. And so they were like, unless you're going to come live with us, then you can't see us. So then I was isolated from my family. So three things, it really set me spinning in a really dark place during a time when everything was, at a standstill. We were on lockdown. So my career was gone, my relationship at the time, and not being able to see my family. So I took that sort of negative energy and I thought, what can I do? What can I do about it? I can either sulk, cry about it, which I did that at the beginning. And then, I kind of hit a, eureka moment of, wait a second, like if I'm feeling this isolated and this shitty, I can't imagine the other singles who don't have as big of a network or aren't as outgoing as me. What would they be doing right now? And so that's how I founded Toronto Dating Hub. So it started off with, virtual house parties, like Zoom events, and then that grew. And then as soon as I could do in-person events, that really was how Toronto Dating Hub flourished into the really creative, unique events that they are today.
Excellent. And speaking of unique events, tell us a bit about the events.
Yeah, would love to. So they're very creative and unique. So normally, actually, let me ask you this. When you usually think of singles events, what did you normally think of?
Well, I've been happily married for 6 years, but before that, what I would say is that you go, you rotate tables, you introduce yourself, You have the one-on-ones and you seldom make any connections, in my experience, right? And in a lot of people's experiences as well, the people that were single with me during that time, right? So the thing is that ultimately most people went to these events, in my opinion, because they just wanted to make a connection with some people, and they did, but seldom did they make that love connection.
Right. So, but you're exactly like, you hit it where most people think of it as, it's the speed dating rounds, where it's a really, really quick round. You meet a lot of people. It's usually at a bar or restaurant setting. So I really wanted to transform the way Toronto singles connect and meet. So through my events are very activity based, meaning at all my events, there's some kind of unique icebreaker and or a unique activity. So I've done jet ski speed dating, e-scooter speed dating, picnic, puppy yoga, treetop trekking, games night. Like, I've tried a lot of different activities. In fact, I'm the first in the world to do jet ski speed dating. So I really try to do very unique activities so that, and I find a lot of these activities, you really, you build trust. For example, jet ski. You are on the jet ski together, right? You decide who's sitting in front, who's operating, and who's being the passenger. You're co-piloting and operating this jet ski so you don't, because you can capsize and fall into the water. So you are building trust. You're helping each other on and off the machine. You are talking to each other and communicating, okay, left, right, faster, slower. And you don't normally get this if you're just sitting 5 minutes here and and then it's up to how good of a conversationalist you are. And so, in my events, you really have an opportunity to build a deep, meaningful connection. And I've seen that because there are, like, I know the ages and more information about each attendee, and I see the match forms. I've seen people who connect and match when they're maybe 10 years apart, not from the same cities. It's very different than when you're an app and you look at someone's profile and based on their picture or where they live or, age, something very, surface level detail, and you swipe left and you're like, no, I don't even want to talk to them. Whereas here, you get to see them face to face, especially after the pandemic where we're isolated away, and you really build those connections. And over a really interesting activity, like a lot of people, maybe jet skiing's on their bucket list. You get to check that off, do something fun. And if you really don't find a romantic connections, I guarantee you'll come make new friends, because my events aren't just for meeting a romantic partner. It's also to make new friends. So if you're new to the city, or, all your friends are married, for example, like you said, you're happily married of 6 years. So maybe all your friends are married with kids and they don't understand what it's like to be single. Maybe you're a divorcee. So you're going to come and make new friends. You're going to gain a new skill or try a new activity. And if not that, you at least tried something new and came out of your comfort zone. So there's a lot of things that's beyond just meeting a romantic partner.
Excellent. And I really like the part where you said that, certain activities helps you build that trust, because in a speed dating kind of environment, you get to meet each other, for 5 minutes or whatever it may be. And you know what? People, I think, are more focused about getting to the next one, and just finishing off these rounds rather than trying to get to know someone well. So that is excellent. So, you said that there was that you reached a moment for yourself when you said that, this is the service I wanted to start. But how did you sort of strategize and build your business in and around that?
Yeah. So I basically thought, okay, what am I passionate about? Like, what do I really care about? What do I feel really passionate about? What are my skill sets? What do I really like doing? And then where is that need in the community? Like, where can I contribute and make an impact, right? Because otherwise, if it's such a saturated market, then you're like, I'm just one of many people are trying to do the same thing, right? Some people think like, I'm going to go hit e-commerce or do this because it's quite easy, or start selling stuff on Etsy, or I don't know whatever have you, or let me just go back into a corporate job. So for me, it was, okay, I knew I loved working with people. I know I love events. I have a lot of like over a decade of marketing and event planning experience, having been single and trying, apps, events, referral, like through friends, and I was like, oh my God, this is a beautiful intersection of all these things connecting. And, it all of a sudden, it just made sense that I have the skills. There's a dire need in there. And you know what? It's pandemic proof, right? The pandemic actually made my business boom, right? And it's probably going to be recession proof because there is always going to be singles out there in the world. And people, especially when they have problems, they are in need of connection. And so that's never going to go away. And I'm really good at doing events and connecting people. And that was sort of the beautiful like marriage of all these things together. And I get to be super creative and I continue to iterate my events. There are no events that, even if you've come to 10 of my events, none of the events were the same because I keep making it better, improving, staying ear to my ground to my customers and listening in. Okay, what are the single ladies saying? What are the single men saying? What can I be doing? Oh, maybe I need to start doing this activity. Or, okay, they're tired of this venue. I got to find a new venue. Or, oh, they don't like this format. Okay, it was too short, the speed dating round. I need to make it longer, or I need to try this. Oh, that really worked really well. And so the events are evolving and I keep trailblazing. I'm so excited. Like maybe I'll drop in a few nuggets here about what's starting coming, but I'm always doing new things and pushing this industry and pushing singles to get out of their comfort zone. So I'm really excited for 2023 because I'm going to be launching a few new initiatives that will really continue to transform the way Toronto singles are meeting and connecting.
Yep. 2023 will definitely be a very exciting year. Can't wait to see some of those events. Speaking of events, I understand you do about 3 to 6 every month, right? So I know for the people who are coming and attending, they see what's there, just the event. But at the back end, there's so much work which goes into it. So tell us about, or just walk us through the preparation for one event, like what goes in to making that happen.
Absolutely. And thank you for recognizing, because a lot of people, who attend events, yes, they think it's great, but they don't realize how much work goes into it. And for me, as an event planner and being in this business, I really care about all the details. So it starts off with finding and sourcing the venue and negotiating, with them, the date, what's included, how much would it cost. So it first starts with the venue when they're available to actually allow you to come in, come up with the theme. And then once you have all that, create the event page where you're going to sell and promote the tickets and what it's all about. The format, is it intros, icebreakers, and then there's an activity, what's happening in the activity. If there's an activity, for example, jet skiing or puppy yoga, I need a partner. So I also have to, not just the venue, I have to find the partner to work with who's also available, negotiate those rates, get that together. So that's pre-events, and then of course promoting it at the actual event. There's the setup. There's, again, if there's any activity, there's icebreakers, any preparation for that. I have a digital match form. So creating that where all the names are sort of custom filled in. And I'm also the MC at my events. So by now, like it's not scripted. I'm pretty like on the fly. I just know I've done it so many times. And at the event, right, as you're an MC, but also the organizer, you're watching people's reactions so that you can like literally tweak and alter as you go on the fly, or if you're troubleshooting any issues, if you need to hire staff and helpers to actually help you at the event, to post event. Like I actually schedule my emails to go out. There's reminders to go out before the event, during, and then after. There's a post-event survey. You've got to fill in the digital match forms. I mean, I used to have a paper match form. Imagine going through like 50 sheets of paper and then finding the combinations and then emailing contacts. Luckily, I found a solution. Actually, one of my attendees, who is a developer, helped me create this script that now the digital match form does its magic and then emails everyone their actual matches, which has saved me 5 hours of manual labor after an event, uploading photos afterwards, promoting the next event already, which means I'm already 1 to 2 months. I plan in advance so that at at the next event, so for example, tonight I have an event, I'm already promoting the December event at my November event to ensure that I'm pre-selling the next event. I'm telling them what is to come. So they're excited and they want to come on. I have people buy tickets that night when the event of this one just is finishing. So that's just, in a nutshell, what I do for just one event, let alone do 6. And I don't know if I mentioned to you, this is actually my side hustle. I have a day job and I volunteer. I'm on a dance team. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my next question, because one of the things you said rightfully is that you've automated a certain process, which has saved you X number of hours. But this is actually a side hustle. You have a full-time job. So tell us about time management. I know the best of us struggle with that. So what is your approach?
Yeah. So it definitely helps when you're super passionate about what you're doing. And when you care about like the end goal, because it keeps you motivated, that you don't procrastinate and get too lazy, because you're like, I'm hungry and I'm eager to do what I do. So that's number one. But number two, okay, my calendar is like very key to keeping me very organized, because I don't just schedule meetings into my calendar. I have a to-do list that's blocked in, and I block off time to actually do work. And especially when clients, like I also do coaching, right? So if clients have access to my Calendly and they can book time, what happens is, especially back when I had a corporate job, people kept booking in meetings. And when I used to have 8 hours of meetings, where are you having time to do work? Like literally you wouldn't sleep. So you need to build in those times to do certain things. Book time to eat lunch or dinner if that needs to happen, or other people might take that time. So being on top of your calendar, staying organized, having a to-do list, having an accountability partner, however that works for you. I'm in an accountability group right now where we had to put some money into the pot. We had to check in every day, and if we either forgot to check in or didn't do it, that money's gone. So it's just a little bit of like money and the skin in the game, right? But there's so many tools and things out there to ensure that you kind of stay on track and stay motivated.
You actually touched on a very important point, which is about coaching. So speaking of coaching and the business nature of the Toronto Dating Hub, what are some of the other sources of revenue that you have with this business?
Yeah, so the first main thing that people think about, and it's the one that I'm passionate about, first is the events, but there is the coaching side. And to be honest, I really do need to push that more, because the coaching services do cost a little more, but they are transformative. And why I say that, so I offer a number of different services. So there's obviously one-on-one coaching. There is the photo shoot. There's the dating profile makeover, which is really cool, from rewriting your bio to redoing your photos. There's wing woman services, which is quite unique, and mock dates. And I can tell you about all this if you like, but those are very unique services. And again, that came out of knowing your audience and what they truly needed. And, I don't try to sell all the services to every single. It's really like when you get to know them, you see what challenges they're having in their love life, and then you kind of see where things go. And maybe, for example, if someone signs up for a photo shoot, but then I see like, maybe you need to invest in the wardrobe and styling consultation as well, so that if you're going to invest in taking photos, but maybe you need to refresh your wardrobe or your styling. So before we take photos, we go shopping, or we kind of refresh your look, so that when it's time to do the photo shoot, your new look is ready to go, and it will get you increased matches or more quality matches, which is what you are going for, right? I don't just go, let's just take photos and that's it. But I go through, telling them how to pose, finding the location, and I get to know them to say, for example, if someone's introverted and they like video games, we actually stage, let's say, a board game or, video games. So they're in their element, but it makes them look fun, because I don't want my client to hide that they like video games. It's not about pretending you are someone you're not, making you look like a model. No, I'm just trying to make you the best version of you and make sure, that's portrayed really well, and put yourself out there so that you can get more matches and find that special somebody.
Excellent. Obviously, we are going to share the links in the description. So if singles want to reach out to you, they obviously can and learn more about the services. But it seems like a lot of very comprehensive services for singles, which is really good for people who need that extra help, right? So I'm going to end off with a question which I kind of find very interesting, which is that because you know a lot of singles through your events and you talk to them, you learn about their challenges. In terms of finding matches, especially in a city like Toronto, what do you think, or what do you hear from these singles being, some of their top issues that they're having in finding a connection?
Just in general, right? For singles? Yeah, definitely been, a lot of people complain about, dating in a big city is super hard, like somewhere in Toronto. You hear anything from being overwhelmed with all the options out there, and the options that could be all the singles out there, to all the apps and all the options that you can to try and find that special somebody. Ghosting is a real problem where people can't just communicate, hey, you know what, I'm not interested, or I'm really busy at the moment and I can't, afford to spend more time with you. And people just ghost you and just not talk to you. Ghosting is a huge issue to people who they don't know what they want. And when you don't know what you want, you aren't communicating what you actually want and need. And so you confuse people out there, or you're on the apps when you really shouldn't be, because you're not actually ready to date, which causes, people pain, heartache, people to get jaded. And then you have jaded people into the apps or at these events who are heartbroken, and they keep that on them. And so then they're not ready to date. It's just a whole convoluted circle. So there's definitely a lot of challenges, which that is part of why I have Toronto Dating Hub out there to provide another option out there for how to meet people. But the coaching side is also to help, consult people and coach people on, how to actually go about dating, or how to better prepare yourself so you yourself can be a better match for people, but as well, you're approaching dating in a way that's going to be more enjoyable and more successful for you.
Well, and after listening to you, I'm glad I'm not single anymore. So, yeah, okay, perfect. But of course, you are here to help. And if people wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, super simple and easy to remember. It's torontodatinghub.com. And I'm on all the social channels. So look up Toronto Dating Hub, and you can reach me through my website or Instagram, social media.
Excellent. And of course, all those links will be in the description below. Andrea, thank you so much for your time today. I do appreciate that. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.